Recently at Bad Blood, we had the conclusion of one of the greatest feuds in WWE history. I still firmly believe that it should have been the main event of Bad Blood, and I'm obviously talking about the Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Besides the match being a classic Hell in a Cell match, and really bringing a Hell in a Cell match back to what it used to be as opposed to what we had when Seth Rollins took on The Fiend. And a rivalry that took most of 2024 to develop that really started at Royal Rumble 2024. We had the whole Drew McIntyre promo with the I prayed for this to happen and it did. And we had Drew McIntyre completely changing his character and turning in to one of the best versions that we've ever got. Not only did we get the best version of Drew McIntyre possibly ever, but we also got the confirmation that CM Punk A can still cook people on the mic, and B, he is still capable of handling himself in the ring. So that leaves one thing to be answered. What is next for both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? Well, first things first, they both have to get healthy first. We got on the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw that CM Punk is really playing up the injuries. He came out limping. He didn't even walk all the way to the ring. He just stood on the stage. So the battle scars for CM Punk are very, very clear. And we obviously know what Drew McIntyre went through getting 16 staples in his head because of the toolbox that CM Punk used. So before anything happens, they both have to be healthy first. We're going to start off with CM Punk and trying to figure out what's next for CM Punk, and we're starting with him because we already pretty much got our answer on Monday Night Raw. We are finally going to get the feud between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. We got a tease on Monday Night Raw about it when Seth Rollins interrupted CM Punk and they kind of met on the stage. But going back and talking about CM Punk needing to heal, we still have to get through Seth Rollins' storyline with Bronson Reed. That feud should allow enough time for CM Punk to get healthy enough for a Seth Rollins feud. And it's going to be a feud that a lot of people have been waiting for since basically Seth Rollins talked all that stuff about CM Punk, calling him a cancer and not wanting him back in WWE. Seth Rollins being in a storyline slash feud with Bronson Reed allows CM Punk to A, get healthy, and it should, providing the timing works out, should be just right around the time that we start heading into WrestleMania 41 season. Because let's be honest, a CM Punk and Seth Rollins feud deserves to be at WrestleMania, and I think that that's ultimately where it's going to go. Whether or not we get some matches before then, similar to what we had with Drew McIntyre and the two matches prior to their Hell in a Cell match, I think that we could possibly get multiple matches between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and their feud would end at WrestleMania 41. Again, this feud has been building since CM Punk even got back into WWE. And what really helped sell this feud was Seth Rollins' reaction when CM Punk made his return last year at War Games. So that automatically set this feud off, and their interaction at SummerSlam when Seth Rollins was the special guest referee, if that was any indication of what we're going to get in this feud, buckle up because it should be an all-timer like what we just had with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So again, the CM Punk one is relatively easy. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it's going to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins. It's just a matter of when we get it, and I think it'll be closer to when the WrestleMania 41 build starts up. From CM Punk, we obviously end with Drew McIntyre. What's next for Drew McIntyre post the all-time feud with CM Punk? And I talked about it earlier, this feud brought out the best in Drew McIntyre. We knew that Drew was fantastic in the ring and he was solid on the mic, but his mic skills got so much better going up against CM Punk. There were a lot of times where Drew McIntyre, in terms of promo skill, was right up there with CM Punk, which is not an easy thing to do considering CM Punk is one of the best mic workers that WWE has ever seen. I talked about this being the best version of Drew McIntyre that we've gotten in WWE, and I don't think that that statement is far off. And with his mic skills improving, maybe that opens the door for a possible feud with John Cena when Cena starts his retirement tour. I think that's something that a lot of people would like to see, and I think simply put, it would be a good feud between Drew McIntyre and John Cena. John Cena, similar to CM Punk, is one of the best mic workers of all time, and Drew McIntyre proved that he can handle himself against a CM Punk. So I'm curious to see, what does a John Cena promo battle look like against this version of Drew McIntyre? But again, it's going to depend on when he gets back from his injuries. Obviously, the staples in his head are one thing, but the spot with his back, when he went back first into the steel steps, that has to take something out of you. Like, I'm sorry, but nobody can do that and be perfectly fine after it. So I think that a feud between John Cena is possible, but I think what is more likely to happen would be him possibly winning the Royal Rumble. Him winning the Royal Rumble would get him immediately back into the title picture, which I think is something that he has earned after his feud with CM Punk. I think a feud between him and Gunther would be really, really solid, and providing that Gunther is still the heavyweight champion at the time, I think that feud would be absolutely fantastic. And especially with this version of Drew McIntyre being as good and as dialed in as he is right now, he could go up against anybody at this point. That's how good of a job Drew McIntyre has been doing throughout the course of the feud with CM Punk, is he could start going after anybody he wants, and it would be fantastic work. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Again, I think the writing is pretty much on the wall for CM Punk. It's pretty obvious that we're going to get a feud between him and Seth Rollins once CM Punk is back and healthy, and Seth Rollins is done with his feud against Bronson Reed. But where does that leave Drew McIntyre in all of this? Do you think he could possibly go up against John Cena, or do you think he could be a legit threat to win the upcoming Royal Rumble? Because I think a Royal Rumble win for Drew McIntyre would do wonders, and it would be very well deserved given the work that he's been doing. So as always, let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click our Linktree link. If you follow our Linktree link, it takes you to all of our social media platforms. I highly suggest checking out our X page. Over on X, we do updates on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and all of the PLEs. And overall, I want that to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have anybody to talk to about wrestling. So if that does apply to you, maybe swing by a Monday night or a Friday night, join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you. With all of that being said, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. It'll really help out the channel. As always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.